Mr. Vijay, to start with, if you could just, for the benefit of our viewers and audiences, if you could just tell us, briefly explain the operations of ClickPost, how it works basically. Today, it is one of the leading names in the logistics technology space.
Sure. So I think the quickest and the easiest way to explain ClickPost is that when you order online,
Right.
There's an entire tracking experience that you expect.
Right.
And when you're ordering from one of the bigger marketplaces like Amazon and Flipkart, you want that, okay, there's an estimated delivery date that I get.
Right.
There's detailed visibility of where my order is. And if there's anything wrong happening with the order, you generally get to know that whether it is arriving delayed, arriving early, and everything. Right? Everyone else, other than these large marketplaces, struggle to provide this kind of customer experience to consumers online. Right? That's where ClickPost comes in. And if I talk about the impact that we make for those companies, this is the impact that we make. That we help them provide the same level of visibility to the end customer, so that they can know where the order is, when it would reach them, they can get the right notifications, etc. And if we talk from an e-commerce company or retailer standpoint, we do this by helping them integrate with all of their logistics partners, tracking all of their shipments in real time, telling them that which is the best partner to use for a particular shipment, because a shipment can be carried to, let's say, Northeast, or let's say South India or North India, and you may have different vendors who may have different specialties in these regions, right? So we help them identify that which is the best vendor for a particular shipment, and then keep track of where the shipment is, so there's nothing going wrong in the entire supply chain.
What were the specific challenges in your observations that e-commerce companies faced that drove this whole initiative?
Great. So that's actually a very good question, because I would say 2017 was a year that e-commerce was kind of transitioning. So if you look at e-commerce journey, and if you think about like the past 10 years back, it was just, let's say, Flipkart, Amazon was just entering India, not even entered actually. Those Shop2s and those Snapping, right? So there were 3-4 destinations who were trying to be the marketplaces, right? And I think after that, around 2014 is when we started seeing a lot of vertical players coming in, right? So you and I both respect, Lenskart was not there in 2011, right? But it was there in 2014. Companies like CaratLane, Nykaa, etc. These vertical marketplaces started coming up in 2014-15. And 2017, I would say, was a year when beyond the vertical marketplaces, we started seeing a lot of brands coming in. And I think that was time we were trying to figure out the right product internally. And we, being in the logistics space, we knew that there was a lot of struggle to kind of like manage other logistics partners, right? So it was an internal product at the time to work with multiple logistics partners. We knew it was a huge pain for us. So we were kind of solving it for us. And when other e-commerce companies saw our internal product, they said, hey, like, can you give that to me as well? Right? And on day one, the problem that we were essentially solving for them was that how do you manage all of these logistics partners, right? So I think the problem has remained pretty similar, that even now we help them manage and monitor these logistics partners better, so that we have built a lot more features on top of it. And it has gone from, let's say, vertical marketplaces to brands to now we see a lot of retailers coming on board with the same challenges that anyone would face when they're doing online operations. How do you deliver the right customer experience in what is pretty much like the only touch point you have with the customer?
So would it be possible to give an approximate figure as to how you would peg the growth of this particular market, essentially retail logistics?
Yes. So, I would say, see, overall, the market is huge and we know the numbers, that it's like $300 billion market and everything, right? But if you keep on dividing the market into like small niches, I would say, like e-commerce logistics, it's probably like a 2% odd of the overall 300 billion market, but it's the one that is growing the fastest, right? We believe that this market is growing at something like 40 to 50%.
Okay.
Even here, I think it's important to kind of differentiate into different chunks. So there's the growth rate that is being seen by the likes of Flipkart, Amazon, the bigger marketplaces, which are at a lot more mature stage of this. Then there are the second section of that market is the new upcoming brands, right? The likes of Sugar, Wow Skincare, on these companies, right? And then there is a third section, which is your traditional brands who are now going omnichannel and online, right?
Absolutely.
And I think it's the second and third, and specifically the third segment that is actually seeing the biggest growth.
So any checklist that you could quickly give to a retail brand who's looking at this space and wants to invest in this?
I would say before even making a checklist, it's about understanding that what kind of customer is going to come online now, or who's your customer going forward the next 5-7 years, right? You look at categories around fashion, and they have been very aggressive in e-commerce because like the target segment is your 18 to 25, 35 segment, right? Who are already online. But going forward, you look at companies who are selling, let's say, kitchenware, right? Or who are selling home decor. Who are the people who are going to establish their homes now, right? It's people of the age group who are right now probably around like 30, right? And those are people who have always shopped online.
Right.
So these are brands who now need to look at their customer base and see that our customer base is definitely going to be online. So first you look at your customer base, you realize what's going to be their preference, and then you move accordingly. And second, when you are like creating a checklist of like, let's say you've decided that, hey, online is something that you need to focus aggressively on. So then you go about finding the right vendors. And for large brand, then that becomes, it's not just about like giving a solution, right? For a large brand, there are issues around one, you need to have a scalable solution.
Right.
Because even though someone might be starting up just now, but you know that they already have such a large brand in the market, they would scale up like anything very quickly.
Right. Yeah.
The second thing, you need to be very, very confident of security. Right. So when you are doing your vendor evaluation, you need to look at the scalability of the solution. You need to look at the security that it provides. You need to look at it not just from a tech part, but can they help you change the process, right? Can they help you train your team? Can they help you in the entire implementation journey? When we are talking to a direct to consumer brand, our onboarding cycle is like less than 7 days. But for some of the large retailers, this onboarding cycle can like extend to up to 3-4 months.
Yeah.
So then you need to have vendors who can help you make that change as well. Right. So I think those are some of the things that you need to consider while selecting any vendor.
I guess for a lot of the corporate retail brands, it requires a certain change in the way the organizational processes and in effect the culture too, right? Because this is going to be an inevitable aspect of their growth journey, digital, and logistics is a key part, right? So
yes, definitely, it impacts the way you hire for your stores as well.
Right.
Because many times your stores aren't like 3 years back, opening a store, you might want to hire the best salesman because person is going to visit the store. But now you might want to hire someone who's very strong on following process and operations as well. Because most of the times you're going to want to use that store as a fulfillment center.
Yes, true.
So it impacts the way you hire.
Yeah.
It impacts the way you create your teams, because unless you've got a dedicated team looking at a specific business unit or digital transformation, it's not going to work. You cannot have the same person thinking about offline retail, malls, etc., and about online. It changes the way you look at your marketing spends, etc., going from offline to like completely digital mediums. So it does involve like a complete journey, a complete transformation.
Yeah.
That's
inevitable. Yeah, true. So, you've had a very fast pace of growth in the last 6-7 years, right? So, what is the secret of your success? To put it in a nutshell, what were the factors that really enabled you to grow faster?
I think, like for us, at least, like we didn't know much about retail or e-commerce. We were like 1 or 2 years out of college, right? So I think it was all about just listening to the customers, right? Before anything else, like when we started up, e-commerce was a very narrow field. There was a few companies out there, and now there are hundreds. So I think rather than listening to, and like what you would advise anyone else as well, rather than listening to, let's say, investors or anyone else in the business, you just listen to the customers. Right? You keep on listening to the customers, you keep on learning from them. I think customers that we have had, like it's their growth and their journey that has taught us the most, because India itself is a very specific geography.
Yes.
So you cannot even look at solutions that are working worldwide and try to like paste it over there.
Yeah.
You need to have specific solutions that work in this geography, right? Some of the features, modules that we build, we don't think like anyone else would think of building it. It's because we saw that there was a specific way of doing business in emerging geographies in India that you need to invest on it. So it's just thinking first from a customer standpoint, and of course, like I think for every large company to be created, you need some, like just like triggers, you need something that happen that are like that give you tailwinds. So again, like in 2017, that was time that Geo like started giving to everyone in India. That again, like that increased content, and then that increased commerce a lot. And like pandemic, like these are all the macro events that have kind of helped us. But at its core, like you just listen to your customers.
Any tangible goalpost, like growth figure that you're looking at, that say the next financial year that you'd like to share?
Yeah, so I think like we are looking at a 20% growth over the next 12 months. And I think it would continue to be that way. Like in the past, so in just the past 12 months, we have grown what 3x plus over the past 12 months. So yeah, I think it's going to be like similar levels of growth that we would expect over the next 12 months and so on as well.
Okay, great. So I wish you all the best in your growth journey. And thank you so much for sharing your views.